So, my last video got some traffic from Reddit.com, which is one of my favorite sites, and as usual, there was plenty of speculation about my gender. Now, I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to explain it again, but I understand why this happens. We all develop the ability to recognize people as male or female, and there are so many opportunities for us to refine this skill, we become very good at it very quickly, to the point that we don't even notice it happening. You look at a person and you just know this person is male or female. Except sometimes you don't know. You see, most people are clearly male or clearly female, and your brain learns to pick up on the characteristics that indicate a person's gender, and it forms a guide based on these features. And most of the time, this works pretty well. But occasionally, you see someone who isn't clearly male or female, and that little gender recognition process that's running in your subconscious can't give you a definitive answer. That's when you consciously notice something is off here, there's some information missing. So you have to make a conscious effort to fill in the blanks. This being the internet, some people just go right ahead and ask questions like, "What are you?" Which may seem a bit forward, but really, there is no polite way to ask, "What gender are you?" Other people try to figure it out on their own by running through a mental checklist of male and female characteristics to see what it all adds up to. Sometimes they can't figure it out, so they ask someone else for advice. Sometimes it turns into a little conference with everyone offering evidence to support their views. And some people don't even bother with all of that, they just take a guess. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. But I realize that this is going to keep happening. People aren't always going to know what gender I am. And that's okay, but people should know how to handle this situation when it comes up. Personally, I don't care if you call me he, she, him, her, man, woman, dude, lady. It doesn't bother me because I don't think it's very important anyway. But if you need to address someone and you don't know what gender they are, just use your best judgment. For example, if they look like a woman, they sound like a woman, they're dressed like a woman, then go ahead and use feminine pronouns. And if they prefer that you use masculine pronouns, they'll probably tell you, and then you'll know which set of pronouns to use. But there are some terms that you should avoid using. You should not call someone a tranny, a he-she, a she-male, or it. Especially not it. You see, he and she are the pronouns for a male or female person. It is gender neutral, but only because it doesn't refer to a person. It refers to a thing. I am not a thing, I am a person, just like you. So please, don't call me it. You probably wouldn't want someone calling you it. And this is actually a shortcoming of the English language. We don't have any pronouns for referring to a person without also referring to their gender. All we have are he and she for males and females, and it for things. And this is a major issue because our language influences how we think. We only have pronouns for people who are clearly male or female, and the gender-neutral pronoun refers to objects. This does affect us, and people will actually start to believe that anyone who isn't clearly male or female is somehow not a person. For example, Angie Zapata was a transgender woman. I use the word was because she was beaten to death by the man she was with after he found out that she was transgender. He later told the police he killed it. It's a very dehumanizing way to describe a person. So, what are the proper terms for referring to a person without saying anything about their gender? Well, none of the options are totally satisfactory. Many people use the word they as a gender-neutral singular pronoun, as in each student should make sure they have two number 2 pencils. But it doesn't work so well when referring to a specific person. Suppose we have a sentence like, Pat said they were going to the store. You wouldn't expect that they was referring to Pat. Other people have invented new sets of gender-neutral pronouns. All of them sound very artificial, and none of them are used very widely, if at all. Personally, I think the best set of gender-neutral pronouns is the one used by Greg Egan in several of his stories. He and she become V, him and her become ver, his and hers become viz, and himself and herself become verself. Obviously, it's still a bit awkward, and nobody really uses it, but it works. Anyway, if you don't know what gender a person is, just be tactful about it, don't make a big deal out of it, and don't be an asshole. That's really all there is to it.